Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a beautiful and kind-hearted girl named Cinderella. She lived with her cruel stepmother and two selfish stepsisters who treated her very badly. They made her do all the chores, like scrubbing the floors, washing their clothes, and cooking their meals, while they enjoyed a life of comfort. Despite their mistreatment, Cinderella remained kind and patient, always helping others, even though they never showed her kindness in return. Her only friends were the animals of the house, birds, mice, and a loyal dog, who loved her for her gentle nature. One day, an exciting announcement came from the royal palace. The king had arranged a grand ball, and every young lady in the kingdom was invited. The king wanted his son, the handsome prince, to choose a bride at the ball. Cinderella's stepmother and stepsisters were thrilled and immediately began planning their outfits. Cinderella also dreamed of going to the ball, but her stepmother laughed at the idea and said, "You have nothing to wear, Cinderella. You can't go looking like that." Instead, she ordered Cinderella to help her stepsisters prepare for the ball. As the stepsisters left for the ball in their finest gowns, Cinderella was left behind, feeling sad and lonely. She went to the garden and cried, wishing she could go to the ball too. Suddenly, a bright light appeared, and in front of her stood her fairy godmother. The fairy godmother smiled warmly and said, "Don't cry, dear. You shall go to the ball." With a wave of her magic wand, she transformed a pumpkin into a beautiful golden carriage. She then turned mice into elegant white horses, a rat into a coachman, and lizards into footmen. Finally, she waved her wand over Cinderella, and her ragged clothes were turned into a stunning ball gown with delicate glass slippers. "You must leave the ball before midnight," the fairy godmother warned, "because at the stroke of 12, the spell will break, and everything will return to its original form." Cinderella thanked her fairy godmother and excitedly stepped into the carriage, ready for the most magical night of her life. When Cinderella arrived at the royal palace, everyone, including the prince, was amazed by her beauty and grace. The prince immediately asked her to dance, and they danced together all night, completely enchanted by each other. Cinderella had such a wonderful time that she forgot about the fairy godmother's warning. As the clock struck midnight, Cinderella suddenly remembered and hurriedly ran from the palace. In her haste, one of her glass slippers slipped off, but she didn't stop to pick it up. She rushed back home just in time for the spell to break, and everything returned to normal, except for the glass slipper, which remained on the palace steps. The next day, the prince declared that he would marry the girl whose foot fit the glass slipper. He searched the entire kingdom, visiting every home and trying the slipper on every young woman, hoping to find his mysterious dance partner. When the prince arrived at Cinderella's house, her stepsisters eagerly tried on the slipper, but their feet were far too big. The prince was about to leave when Cinderella stepped forward. Her stepmother and stepsisters tried to stop her, but the prince insisted that she try on the slipper.